ChatGPT told Finesse2Tymes to run.
So me and Suge, I done finally found my mob tie contract. Got a lawyer to look over it, but a lot of lawyers, like they don't really want to with it. They with it, but they don't really want to with it. And I got a couple people that have reached out to me, and I just sent it to them, and I still don't trust this shit a whole lot. So me and Suge finally decided to do ChatGPT. So this is my first time using ChatGPT. I never used this shit. Everybody been encouraging me to try to use this shit, so I'm finna try to use it for the first time.
You should also put, is there any loopholes?
Have it been breached?
Like,
have this been
no, ask it, is there any loopholes for you to get out of your contract?
Okay. And especially if the artist had no proper legal advice. But this is not easy to win without a lawyer. So basically, Jay Prince, the old man, told me don't get a lawyer. Mm-hmm. He told me, we ain't gonna even go there. Advances and benefits could be used against you. They gave you cash, jewelry, truck, private plane, etc.
You pay for all that? Yeah,
all that paid back will go along. That means they'll argue you already got paid, so you owe delivery. So walking away could trigger recoupment claims or even lawsuits. Assignment clause, another trap. Transfer the contract to another label, company, anytime. So basically, they can sign their label over to anybody and I still be with them, basically. That's what they're saying. Can't transfer or escape, even the next deal, basically. That keeps you locked in, ownership changes. Okay, real talk. Yeah, that question right there is key, not just random. Short answer. If music was released through a real distributor, your easy loophole is probably gone. Why this matter? In your contract, everything revolves around a distribution agreement. If they secured a qualified distributor like a real label, distribution pipeline, and release music commercially, then the contract locks in and extends automatically. The term becomes tied to that distribution deal. If music was released, here's what actually that usually means for you. You can't use the shopping period exit anymore. The contract likely auto extended. They now control master releases, your recording services. Basically, you're in an active deal phase, okay? But don't get discouraged. You still got angles. Even if music drop, you can still look for what is real, qualified distributor. Now, we go to the Atlantic deal. I went through your contract and I'm gonna break it down plain, no lawyer talk, so you can actually understand what's going on and where the power is. Contract overview. This is a deal between Atlantic Records Corporation, the label, Mob Ties Entertainment, artist company, artist Finesse2Tymes, Ricky Hamilton. This is a recording deal. Profit share deal, not just a simple distribution. Exclusive deal, very important. The artist is locked in exclusively to Atlantic. Can't record for nobody else. Label controls all music during the contract. This is standard, but very restrictive. Length of contract. This is where labels win. Starts when deal is signed. First term until albums drop plus 10 months after. Then label has 3 options to extend, meaning label can keep him for up to 4 total periods. Artist does not being bamboozled. You hear me? I can accept what comes with taking a loss, right? I ain't with losing, right? Cause all my L's help me win, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. But this situation is a little bit more, it's a little bit different. It's not like the average loss. You know what I'm saying? I already lost a lot of time in my life. lot know about being independent. I just don't know everything about it. I do know that being part of a label is not in your best interest also. I knew that before I signed the contract. I'm not gonna lie. I knew that. Y'all is not listening to me when I tell y'all. I talked to Junior from a bunk. We built a relationship. It wasn't just business. We agreed as men that he was gonna help me learn the game. We also agreed that we understand paperwork still gotta be involved for us to handle business. But my loyalty, and because they preach loyalty, and because of what I thought about them, and because they was a black independent, it could have been Master P. I would have went with Master P. You know why? Because I feel like he black, and I feel like he would have taught me. I don't feel like he would have f***ed me over. I don't feel like he would have. I don't feel like Master P would have. If I would have told him, hey, Master P, like one time, Junior, I paid $30,000 for a video and didn't know that the label was supposed to pay for it. I paid $30,000 out of my pocket. Me and the baby video, the Love of Hip Hop, I paid $30,000 out of my pocket for that video. The label got paid for. They got paid for that. They made millions off that song. I paid for the video. But guess what? I didn't know that I didn't supposed to. And guess who was right there when I paid the $30,000? J. Prince Jr.
What's up, world? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Keep sending those cash apps to CLBMG. Join that membership and all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen. I know it's easy to make fun of people and to kick men while they're down. And I know it's easy to just say stuff like, you should have read your contract, and all that can be true. 2, 3, 4 things can be true at the same time. Now, I don't know a lot about Finesse2Tymes. I don't know much about his music. I do know him from that glorious remix, that Merc. We had no cereal, no Merc, right? I remember that remix that was hilarious where they took his words where he was going off about not having peanut butter, no jelly, this, that, and the third, and they made it into a song, right? And it went viral, this, that, and the third. So I do know him from different scenarios and events on social media and just viral moments, right? But I am not a big fan of his music. I don't know much about the artist. But I do know that I saw on my Twitter today that he input his contract into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT was like, Molly, you in danger, girl, because, yeah, this is crazy. And it went viral. Apparently, he's been having problems with them for months. By them, I'm meaning Mob Ties, J. Prince and J. Prince Jr., right? That dastardly duo, right? Out of Texas, right? If I'm not mistaken. And we've been having issues with J. Prince and that label for ever since Scarface, right? Ever since the Ghetto Boys. Me being an elder statesman, an older gentleman, I was around when we literally saw Scarface before the internet in magazines having issues with J. Prince, right? So this is nothing new. We've been hearing about contract issues and things of that nature since the Ghetto Boys were still a group, right? So this thing with J. Prince, it seems to be a recurring theme, and now it looks like his son has inherited the recurring theme, and now Finesse2Tymes is caught up in it. Finesse2Tymes, and I believe his significant other, put his contract, which he's been apparently for months now, been having, he's been openly vocal about his contract not being right. Something ain't right. And he's been talking about it. He got diss records against J. Prince Jr. and this, that, and the third. So, and there are some people, I believe Seti Nash came out, actually contradicting him, calling him a flat out liar, this, that, and the third. So this story has a lot of missing, moving pieces and turning parts and things of that nature. I don't attempt to know everything about it. But I'm learning in real time that there is a real problem with a really bad contract. Okay. And I spoke on this a few weeks ago in one of my other videos. It might have been the Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane one where I discussed that I can't excuse it. I can't excuse it. But us black men, especially the ones from the 80s and 90s who started getting into rap, we loved it, but we didn't understand the business. We started to get these copy and paste contracts, right? Didn't they say that Pooh Shiesty father went to the Staples and printed out a contract? They have these contracts already lined up, right? And what we did was we took the contracts as they were. The contracts in the 70s and 80s and 90s, right? Those Michael Jackson contracts where they were giving you 6 cents off a dollar. They were horrible. They were slave deals. And a lot of artists, including rappers, got burnt bad. Well, what we did, instead of learning from that and doing better by the next man, we was like, well, shit, that's how they did me, so I'm going to do you. So we started copying and pasting these contracts. And I'm sure that that's what Jay Prince did to a degree. He was copying and pasting these bad deals that they were getting from these guys that had these yachts and these fancy cars, and they ate caviar every day. And all they wanted to do with these artists was to burn them out of their money so they can have bigger yachts and eat more caviar. So the black guys started to do the exact same thing that they were told, that they learned from, let's say, Tommy Mottola and Jimmy Iovine and whoever else you want to name, Clive Davis. They learned these things, and I'm sure those guys are fair and honorable, right? I'm just using those names as an example, okay? So what I'm going to say is we copied and pasted some really bad contracts, some really shitty deals, and we started to make it that's the industry standard. I used to say that, or not. Well, I used to hear it all the time. That's just how it goes. That's the industry standard. That's what the contracts say, gang, and that's what it is. And when you walk into these labels, that's what you're going to get. When you want to get these advances, right? You want to get this money. Well, they're going to hand you a trash contract. So Finesse2Tymes not only got handed a trash contract, he was handed more than that, because when you listen to him talk, he was handed a whole spiel about loyalty and trust, right? When you really listen to what he actually saying, after you get over the fact that, yeah, it's funny that ChatGPT got involved in. I even went on and asked Gronk what Gronk would tell him. I said, Gronk, what would you have told him after the ChatGPT story came out? We're going to get into that, right? But once you get past that part, you realize that this guy was lied to. He was misled, and I get it. You're supposed to be smart. You're supposed to do this, that, and the third. Well, what also happens is you're supposed to be loyal. And when you're from these streets and somebody that's been in the game as long as a Jay Prince and his son, they sit down and tell you, yo, listen, we're gonna show you the game. We're gonna show you how to move in a room full of vultures, right? Like Jay-Z say. You believe that. Especially a dude, listen, I'm just gonna be honest. I've been around a lot of jail people. I've been around a lot of dudes that come out of jail. And a lot of them guys, especially the older ones, they're looking for somebody to trust. They're looking for somebody to take them out of the situation they're in, because a lot of them can't get work. They got to go right back to the things that they learned that got them in jail in the first place. And a lot of them turn to the music business, but they don't know what they're doing. So they think somebody out there, they find somebody they think they can trust. Finesse2Tymes thought he could trust Jay Prince. Well, apparently he put that contract in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT started throwing up red flags, right? The end of the day, wasn't a good deal at all, and he's been saying for months that it was a problem, and it looks like he's now declaring war, that he said everything you do, right? Everything they do or try to do, he's going to be a roadblock. He said, other than taking your life, I'm not going to try to take your life, right? This is what he said on the thing. He said, I'm not going to try to take your life, but what I am going to do is try to see to it that everything you do fails going forward until you do right by me, right? He's Sealy from The Color Purple. Everything you do. So he said, until they do right by him, which starts with getting him out of that contract. He said he paid $30,000 out of his own pocket for a video of him and Lil Baby, while the label head, who is Jay Prince Jr., sat there and watched him do it. Right? He said Jay Prince Sr. is his manager. So that's a conflict of interest. He said he had no idea that was a conflict of interest. And I know you guys are tearing your hair out in the comments. Yo, but he should know this stuff. Well, everybody don't know this stuff, gang. A lot of dudes spent their life just trying to survive and grind and hustle. I told you, I've been around a lot of jail people. I grew up in the hood, gang. So Everybody don't know the ins and outs of the record deal. A lot of you people grew up with the internet right there at your fingertips, and you saw a lot of people's stories end badly with these deals. So now you're mini lawyers, right? You're online lawyers. You're on online counsel that you can pretty much solve niggas' problems before they even have them, right? Because you've seen other people fail at these very same things. So a lot of times people online think they know the business when they really don't know that much about it either. So he believed and trusted in these guys, and he came to find out they were burning him. Like I told you, he said he spent $30,000 while the label head sat there and let him do it. And then the label got paid millions off of the very video that he came out of his pocket with. Now, some of you going to say, well, shit is good that he paid the $30 million because, the $30,000 because he don't owe them to him. They can't put that on his thing. But at the same time, if they not giving you nothing, gang, if they go make millions off your video that you paid for, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. So at the end of the day, it's supposed to be, all of that's supposed to be under the label. Then when he recoup, you give him back whatever, He don't pay for it and then you take all the money. It don't work like that. So it's all conflicts of interest, and it's all bad business. So at the end of the day, when I listen to him talk, I'm like, damn, they low-key cooked homeboy, right? They low-key cooked them. And I get it. This is a dog-eat-dog world. If you let them get you, they gonna get you, and this, that, and the third. But my whole thing is this reeks of bad business, thievery, and willful ignorance, trying to play like this father figure. Same shit they've been doing since the beginning of the time, right? But he's lashing out saying he's going to crash out this, that, and the third. I'm going to read this article. We can have a conversation. I pulled up a bunch of different things about it, and I just want to get a little more deeper into it, right? Because it's just so much going on. As of early May 26, rapper Finesse2Tymes has gone viral for using ChatGPT to analyze his own recording contract, only to discover he's trapped in a restrictive 360 deal with Mob Ties and Atlantic Records. The Memphis rapper, who previously claimed he signed the deal based on loyalty to J. Prince and J. Prince Jr. without proper legal counsel, used the AI tool to read his Mob Ties contract and was reportedly shocked by the findings. Yes, it went viral. People was laughing at him, ha ha ha, he, this, that, and the third. And it does, and when you at the surface level, it's funny for a guy to put the shit in ChatGPT and this, that, and the third. Now, once you get past that, you realize these dudes is like got this dude as a slave right now. All right? They're not giving them no money. They burning them. And we just had this whole thing where a lot of people are defending other artists that's in the same situation. But since he put it in ChatGPT, then all of a sudden he's a clown and a buffoon and we can make fun of him. Well, I'm not going to do that. I want to have a real conversation about the business, okay? The ChatGPT contract breakdown and by Finesse2Tymes and his team, including his girlfriend Suge, when they used it, it parsed through the fine print of his agreement. According to the AI analysis highlighted by Finesse, the deal is heavily skewed against him. The label Mob Ties Atlantic reportedly owns his masters in perpetuity. That means forever. That you can't do that. And some lawyer should be able to get in there and do something about that, right? The label is entitled to a percentage of all income streams, including music, shows, merchandise, and endorsements. He has no control in the music of the music, and the label has the final say in all decisions. Recoupment, the expenses and such as advances, jewelry, and travel are paid back by him, meaning he owes delivery. He got to pay this stuff back, not the label. The label's supposed to be charging that to his balance sheet and then da-da-da. No, they're saying he got to do this. This contract is insanity, gang. This one right here, gang, this ain't no cut and paste. This ain't no cut and paste from the 80s and 90s. They put this shit together. This some new shit. 360s didn't even exist back then. So I started this out with a cut and paste. And yeah, they started out with the cut and paste, and we're gonna do it like the guys did us, but this worse. This worse, gang, because they putting a whole lot of new stuff in there. The 360 shit, that's some new shit. Leo Cohen type shit, all right? Let me continue. Following the ChatGPT revelation, Finesse2Tymes took to Instagram to express his anger and frustration, claiming he was finessed. Help, buy me out. He publicly asked for help to be bought out of his contract, stating he is asking as a man for assistance before he crashes out and does something that could get him a life sentence. Blaming the labels, he started to he started to speak on it and said, y'all told me I didn't need a lawyer because all they do is F people over. Well, it looks like y'all worse than the lawyers. He threatened to expose the full details of the contract. He said, let me out or I'm going to spend my entire life to bring y'all down. Well, it ain't much he gonna be able to do at this point, because if one of them really drop down as a body, he gonna be suspect number one, okay? End of the day. Finesse claimed his label was blocking him from releasing music on Apple Music and is not investing in his career, saying he is done with the label system. So not only are they burning him with his money and this ridiculous contract, they're not even letting him go independent. They're blocking everything he puts up. This is something he needs to sit down with them and say, okay, I see what we got going on, but this is why Pooh Shiesty crashed out. And a lot of people ran to Gucci's defense and said he's just a businessman. Pooh Shiesty's dumb, da da da. Well, when you do shit like this to a man with no options, you start burning him and using him, and he figure it out that you got him in a God knows what kind of deal Gucci had him in. Right, so maybe it's the same kind of deal with the same structure where I own your shit forever. They have a law. They have laws where you get your masters back in 30 years type shit. They writing contracts where you can't even get it back in 30 years. Like it's insanity, gang. So at the end of the day, what he's fighting for the right to just exist and eat. He needs to sit down with them, work it out where, okay, I see what it is. I lashed out. I'm mad. But we need to work this out, because I'm not going another 10 years or 20 years with you guys blocking me from making music and trying to get every dollar out of me, keep me out the business. That's not going to happen either. At this point, he need to hire a lawyer. He can't litigate this. You can't he's saying, I'm going to make it hard for you out here in the world. Other than you taking shots at them violently, this, that, and the third, you going online speaking out against them, that's not doing much, because people have spoke out against Jay Prince Jr. for years. So it never stopped. It ain't stopped you from signing with him, and it ain't going to stop the next man. So you're not going to damage everything that they've done. What you're going to do is make a lot of noise, and people going to start saying, all right, you know, gang, you kind of looking dumb out here now because you still bitching about some shit you supposed to just got a lawyer and dealt with. So right now, you got to refuse to do any more business, and you got to set up some type of situation where they got to sit down. It's a mediation, and some lawyer, because it's going to be a lot of lawyers that's interested in this. Get you a lawyer that's going to get in there and start to fight for what you got going on. It's going to take a couple months. It might even take a year or two, but you're going to have to fight, because this trying to fight it in the streets or on the line or online ain't going to work. All right, let me continue. He did not know how to find a proper independent lawyer. Well, this is what you do. You ask. This is what you out here for. And instead trusted the label's suggestion of using a lawyer that they provided. That's rule number one. And the label knows that any label that offers you their own lawyer is already, they burning you off the rip. That is crooked business. That's a conflict of interest, and it's illegal. They're not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to say, well, here's our in-house lawyer, Johnny. Like, Johnny, hook him up. No, because Johnny going to hook them up against you, which is exactly what happened. He noted this created a conflict of interest, stating how can our lawyer fight for me if y'all paying him? As of May 2026, neither Mob Ties nor Atlantic Records have formally commented on the allegations, but the situation has prompted a widespread conversation about artist contracts, 360 deals, and the use of AI for legal review. Now, all of that is vital conversation, but the number one conversation he needs to have is, don't crash out. Don't take no shots at nobody, and stop talking about these guys openly, because all you're gonna do is antagonize it, and they're gonna be less likely to work with you, right? Remember, it was Offset was online and openly verbal about a QC, this, that, and the third, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wanted off that label, and then he ended up, it didn't matter. All that talking online didn't matter. He still made him buy his contract out. So Offset had to put together, if I'm not mistaken, had to put millions together and pay himself out of that. That's what you're probably gonna have to do. And then you're going to have to get with a real lawyer and a real PR, real team, this, that, and the third, and rebuild your brand. But it's going to take some time. And you're going to, you signed the deal, it's already cooked. You're going to have to buy yourself out. I don't know what to tell you at the end of the day, because the arbitration going to be murder. It's going to be murder. All right? So I actually I was like, Grok, what would you tell him? Because Grok, the other AI thing for Twitter, I didn't expect Grok to really say nothing. Grok came back with an answer. Grok said, I tell him straight, that's a textbook one-sided label trap. Exclusive forever, masters owned perpetually, automatic extensions, and recoupment clauses that keep you in debt. ChatGPT nailed the red flags. Don't sign without a sharp entertainment lawyer reviewing every line. Labels win these deals for a reason. Get real advice before it's locked in. Well, only thing Grok didn't know is it's already locked in. This shit been locked in. So he already locked in. But everything that he said, that that Grok said, was the red flags. He needs lawyers. This, that, and the third is all true. And what he's going to have to do, he probably going to have to buy himself out, right? Going to have to pay his way out. It is what it is. But end of the day, right? End of the day, we're seeing a lot of these guys start to rebel, and we immediately jump to the artist is dumb. Well, he says it himself, and I agree with him. He did what we said we're supposed to do. Oh, we want to buy black, own black business, trust back black businesses, use black companies. Well, he went with a black company that just so happened to be unscrupulous. And he trusted them. The one thing that we keep trying to say, we need to do for us, by us, FUBU, all this shit. Do it together. Do it as a race, as this, that, and the third. Well, he tried that, and he got burnt. So as we start to calm down from the laughing at the nigga, we got to say, wait, as a people, we got to do better. Because if we can't give honest contracts, like, let's be honest. Let's just say this, and I'm going to get out of here. If you're handing out trash slave deals, you're no better than the slave owners. All right? You ain't no better than the slave masters if you're going to hand a black man a trash slave deal. As a matter of fact, he shouldn't have to read the deal. It should be fair. How about that? How about the deal should already been right? He shouldn't have needed no lawyer because you should be handing out shit just off your own reputation and your honor. You shouldn't be handing out bullshit ass deals in the first place. All right? I'm going to leave it at that, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on the What Show, me, TJ, and Fliz. On my social media platforms, 9:15, 9:30, tap in. My Patreon's up and running. Go over there. Hit up Patreons, put Charles Brown, lock in, become a member, okay? And last but not least, new video, Peanut Butter Tims, me, TJ, and Fliz. That's off the What Project. That's on all streaming platforms. That video is in my videos. Just search Peanut Butter Tims, get in the comments. Let me know what you think, all right? I'm out of here, man. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe and put some food in his face, and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.